In this video, I discuss 5 Social Security benefits that unlock at full retirement age. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
Most people think that full retirement age unlocks only one benefit, but the fact is there are 5, and we're going to cover off all 5 of those starting right now. Let's start with the one that most people are familiar with, which is no discount on your Social Security payment. The structure of Social Security is that you can take Social Security early and get more payments, they're just smaller, or you can take it at full retirement age and get 100% of your Social Security payment, or you can even take it late and get up to 124% of your Social Security payment at full retirement age. What is full retirement age? Well, for most people watching this video, it's either 66 years and 10 months if you reach full retirement age in 2025, or age 67 if you reach it in 2026 or later. But for completeness, because there are people who've already started taking Social Security, here's the complete schedule. If you were born in 1954 or earlier, full retirement age was 66. 1955, it was 66 and 2 months. 1956, it was 66 and 4 months. 1957, 66 and 6 months. 1958, 66 and 8 months. 1959, 66 and 10 months. And 1960 or later, it was age 67. For the purposes of this video, we're going to assume that full retirement age is age 67, but if it's age 66 and 10 months, the examples won't be vastly different than what we're going to talk about here. If your full retirement age was age 67 and you filed for Social Security at age 62, then you had a 30% reduction in your Social Security payment. So you got 70% of your Social Security payment. If you filed at age 63, it's 75%. Age 64, it's 80%. Age 65, 86.66%, age 66, 93.33%, and age 67, 100%. But what if you wait even longer? Well, that's where delayed retirement credits come in. If you wait until age 68, you get 108% of your full retirement age benefit. At age 69, you get 116%, and at age 70, you get 124%. Now, what I just explained to you is what most people think about when they think about full retirement age. But there are 4 more benefits, 4 very important benefits that come with full retirement age. The next is no more earnings test. Let me explain. Up until you reach full retirement age, you had 2 choices when it came to working while collecting Social Security. You could work part-time and stay below what we call the thresholds, or you could work full-time and not file for Social Security. But if you filed for Social Security and you earned a lot of money, you had to give part of your Social Security payment back. This is because of something called the earnings test, which was put in place because there was a strong belief that people who were earning an income didn't need to collect Social Security. It was there primarily for a safety net for those that didn't have anything else to live on, at least back in 1935 when it was put in place. The earnings test sets a specific dollar threshold that you can't earn beyond. And when I say earn, I mean earnings from work or earnings from self-employment. It has nothing to do with pensions or your 401k or dividend income, interest income, or capital gains. Only earnings from employment or self-employment. In 2025, if this isn't the calendar year in which you reach full retirement age, the earnings test is set at $23,400. For every $2 over this limit, you have to give $1 back to the SSA. If this is the calendar year that you reach full retirement age, but you haven't reached full retirement age yet, the limit is set at $62,160. For every $3 you go over this limit, you have to give $1 back to the SSA. Now, once you reach full retirement age, the earnings limit is removed and you can earn as much as you want. You can earn $1 million a year, you can earn $1 billion a year, whatever the market will pay you, and you can still collect your full Social Security payment without giving any of it back. Now, practically speaking, a lot of people say, so what? If I'm taking Social Security, I'm not planning on working. Otherwise, I wouldn't be taking Social Security. Well, most of the time, people who are working and collecting Social Security weren't really planning on working and collecting Social Security. This group is what I call the suddenly retired group. They didn't plan on retiring, but they were suddenly retired because they were either laid off or they were downsized. When it happens, they're either 62 or say 63, whatever the age is, not quite ready to retire, but they say, you know what, it's close enough, I'm going to retire here today. And so when that happens, their intention isn't to go back to work, but it wasn't a conscious decision to leave their work in the first place. 5 months later, a competing firm gives them a call. The firm has great health insurance, and health insurance is expensive up until age 65. and they're offering them a very reasonable pay package, so they go back to work. And then they are working while collecting Social Security. This happens more often than you would think. And the people that say, so what, are usually the people that end up taking the job and trying to figure out what to do next. Before we move on to the next point, I want to thank our partner Chapter for sponsoring this video. Chapter is a Medicare advisor that provides truly unbiased advice. There are a lot of unethical Medicare agents out there pushing their customers into Medicare Advantage plans as an all-in-one solution. They do this a lot of times because those plans provide them with higher commission. That's why we partnered with Chapter. Chapter is one of only 3 companies that we've brought on as a sponsor, and we do a lot of research before we bring on a sponsor to this channel. Instead of talking to you about just the amazing benefits of a Medicare Advantage plan, they talk to you about the pros and cons of all of your Medicare options: Original Medicare, a Medigap policy, Medicare Part D, and Medicare Advantage plans. Chapter will walk you through the cost based on your own needs and give you a good idea of your healthcare spend for the year. So if this is of interest to you, give them a call at 440-703-1224 to see if they can help you. I'll put the number in the description below and remind you at the end. Next up, eligibility to voluntarily suspend benefits. There used to be a provision, at least up until 2016, where the primary insured could file for Social Security, immediately suspend their benefits, at the same time apply for the spousal benefit, and the spousal benefit could carry on. That was eliminated after 2016, and today the only suspension strategy that's available is the ability to suspend your Social Security payment at full retirement age and then let it grow for as little as a month, as much as 3 years. Let me explain how it works. If you file early for Social Security, you have a reduced benefit. We talked about that a little bit earlier. But what happens a few years into retirement, after you've gotten used to your retirement finances, if you want to increase the size of your Social Security payment? Well, you have one other option, and that's at full retirement age. If we assume that full retirement age for you is age 67, that means that you can suspend your Social Security payment and let your payment grow by 8% per year all the way up until age 70, so up to a 24% increase in your Social Security payment. Now, there's a distinction here, and this one's really important. That's 8% per year on your lower base. So if you started out with a 70% base, it's 124% of 70%, not 124% of 100%. So you end up with 86.8% if you originally started with 70%, not 124%. Next up, full survivor benefits. Let me explain what I'm talking about. There are 2 factors to the survivor benefit. The deceased's Social Security payment, this is the amount that they were receiving or due to receive when they passed, and the age of the survivor and when they filed for the survivor benefit. So in this case, the full retirement age refers to the age of the spouse claiming the benefit, not the deceased. I will tell you, though, that the percentage that the spouse receives based on their own age is one of 2 calculations. The other calculation is how much the deceased base is. And that's reasonably complicated. I have a whole video on this, and I'll put a link to the end. But know that if the spouse files early, their survivor benefit is going to be lower than if they file later. The last full retirement age unlock is the spousal benefit. And this is based on the full retirement age of the spouse, not on the primary insured. Let me explain. As a primary insured, you can file as early as age 62 or as late as age 70. If you file early, your Social Security payment is going to be reduced. We talked about that at the very beginning of this video. The spousal benefit is not tied to the size of that. It's actually tied to when the spouse files for his or her own Social Security payment. So if the spouse waits until their own full retirement age, they get the maximum payment possible, which is 50%. The caveat is that the primary insured had to go first. So the spouse can't file until the primary insured files for his or her own primary insurance first. Let me explain to you exactly what I'm talking about. Remember at the beginning of the video when I talked about the primary insured and they had early filing reductions or late filing credits? Well, there's an additional schedule for spouses, and it looks like this. At age 62, they receive 32.5% of the primary insurance amount. At age 63, they receive 35%. At age 64, 37.5%. At age 65, 41.66%. At age 66, 45.83%. And at age 67, full retirement age, 50%. They cannot go above 50%. So if they wait to claim Social Security beyond age 67, full retirement age, they're not going to get a benefit for this. But in all cases, the primary insured must file for his or her own benefit before the spouse can file for theirs. If you like this video, check out that video, the one on survivor benefits that I mentioned earlier. It goes into a lot more detail about the calculation of the survivor benefit. Also, don't forget to give our partner Chapter a call at 440-703-1224 if you have questions on Medicare. I will also put their information in the description below. This is Jeff Schmidt, and I'll see you in the next video.